Hey there. Welcome to Quick Bite History, our live show. And this is where we're going to try to have some fun with history. Um, so I'm going to divide tonight's show into three segments. And the first one is going to be a game that's called Digital Speed Painting, where you get to guess. In this case, we're going to be guessing a famous place from history or a famous building from history. The first one is very easy. I'll give you three hints each time. This is built as a tomb over a 20-year period. The only the only surviving structure of the original seven wonders of the ancient world. It's located in Egypt, and it was the tallest man-made structure for over 3,800 years. Now, surely you can guess this one. And if you know what it is, please do put a comment and let's start to chat. Anyway, if you guess the Great Pyramid of Giza, you got this one correct. So now you know how to play with a super easy one. Moving on, here's our next one. Hence, it's known for its hypogeum, a complex system of underground passages. It can hold up to 80,000 spectators in ancient times. An iconic amphitheater located in Rome, and it was used for gladiatorial contests. Again, that's barely harder than the first one. What do you think? Anybody got a guess? Nobody? Well, if you did guess the Great Colosseum of Rome, you are correct. Moving on to the next one. Its construction is estimated to have required more than 30 million hours of labor. A prehistoric monument located in Wiltshire, England. Famous for its ring of standing stones, each around 13 feet high. There we got some guesses, huh? Well, so what is it? We do the speed painting, but you guys have to do the guessing. Who's got a good guess? Well, if you guessed Stonehenge, you'd have this one correct. Moving on. This one is dedicated to a virgin goddess. Sits atop the Acropolis in Athens. It's a symbol of glory of ancient Greece, known for its Doric architecture. How about this one? Who's got a guess on this one? I'm doing the digital speed painting. You guys are doing the guessing. Well, if you guessed the Parthenon, you would be correct. Okay, they're getting gradually a little bit harder each time. This one is a series of fortifications made of stone, brick, tamped earth, wood, and other materials. It was built to protect against invasions from the north. Stretches over 13,000 miles across northern China. There we got some guesses. Oh, there we go. We've got it. I see a correct answer up there. Still time. If you haven't got it yet, you can still try to get it. Who likes the painting? If you guessed the Great Wall of China on this one, you'd have the correct answer. Moving on. This is known as the Lost City of the Incas, located high in the Andes Mountains of Peru. It was rediscovered in 1911 by Hiram Bingham. If you haven't watched my videos on Machu Picchu and architecture of the Incas, you can do that. Hey, Brad. Hey, Anna. Well, kind of. It's another one, I think. Hey. Anyway, if you would have guessed Machu Picchu, you would have had the correct answer on this one. Next, this is harder. Once the center of day-to-day life in Rome, hosting triumphal processions and elections. The location of several important ancient government buildings, situated in the heart of Rome, surrounded by ruins of several important ancient government buildings. Since this is only my first one of these things, I'm going to make a little adjustment here. Don't bother me, but I can see the comments better if I do that. Thank you. That helped me out quite a bit. If you would have guessed the Forum of Rome, you would have had that one correct. Moving on, famous for its rock-cut architecture, known as the Rose City due to the color of the stone from which it is carved. An archaeological site in Jordan. It was established as the capital city of Nabateans. I said that correctly. Anyway, once again, we are doing the digital speed painting, or more like our robots are doing the digital speed painting, and you guys are guessing the correct answer. Who's got this one? This would be a nice place to visit, actually. I haven't been there. I also have videos on this. If you haven't seen my Architectures of the Ancient World, this is Petra. Petra. Two more in the architecture, are in the buildings and locations category. This one is a mausoleum commissioned by Mughal Emperor in memory of his wife, located in Agra, India. Known for its magnificent white marble architecture and garden. Who's got it? There it is. I see a correct answer. I'll give others a second. If you guessed Taj Mahal, you did get this one correct. All right, last one in this category. Features a hypostyle hall that is one of the largest religious buildings ever constructed. Located near Luxor, it was dedicated to the Tibetan gods, or Theban gods, part of a massive complex of decayed temples, chapels, and other buildings in Egypt. This is the hardest one. It is the last one. Bonus points for whoever gets this one correct. If you know your ancient Egyptian architecture, you got a chance. This one is called the Temple of Karnak. Temple of Karnak. Anyway, so that ends our first round here. And I've got the other round set up here on my digital studio. So I need to add the second program to the stage. And it looks like it started right up, so we shouldn't have any problem. Now, this one is going to be a little more challenging. This is the first time I've done a true-false quiz. So let's dive into the fascinating world of ancient Rome with a true-false quiz. Each question will be followed by an explanation. So if we're ready, here we go. True or false? Julius Caesar was the first Roman emperor. Who knows? It is false. Julius Caesar was never an emperor. He was a military general and dictator. The first Roman emperor was Augustus, who established the Roman Empire after Caesar's assassination. True or false? The Roman Empire officially fell in 476 AD when the last Roman emperor, Romulus Augustus, was deposed. True or false? That's actually true. The fall of Western Roman Empire is traditionally marked by the year 476 AD when Romulus Augustus, the last emperor of the Western Roman Empire, was deposed by Odoacer, a Germanic chieftain. True or false? The Romans built the first system of aqueducts to bring water into the city. That is, of course, true. The Romans were pioneers in developing aqueduct technology to transport water from distant sources into cities and towns, supporting public baths, fountains, and private households. True or false? Roman soldiers were primarily armed with longbows as their weapon of choice. This is false. Roman soldiers, particularly the legionnaires, were primarily armed with short swords, gladius, and javelins. Pilum, not longbows. The gladius was designed for close combat, while the pilum was used for throwing at the enemy and engaging in hand-to-hand combat. Okay, so far, kind of fun, fast-moving. True or false? The Colosseum in Rome could hold up to 50,000 spectators. Actually, I think I threw another number in the last video. We've got that as true. The Colosseum, also known as the Flavian Amphitheater, was capable of seating 50,000 spectators. It was used for gladiatorial contest, public spectacles, and other forms of entertainment. True or false? The Roman women had the right to vote and hold public office during the Republic. This is actually false. Roman women were excluded from voting and holding public office. They had limited legal rights and were primarily involved in domestic and family life. True or false? The language of the Romans is still spoken as an official language in the Vatican City. This is true. Latin remains an official language of the Vatican City and is used in the Catholic liturgy as well as various official documents. True or false? The ancient Romans had a goddess of wisdom named Minerva. This one's true. Minerva was Roman goddess of wisdom, arts, and trade and strategy. She was equivalent to the Greek goddess of Athens in the Roman pantheon. True or false? The Roman Empire was primarily a landlocked entity with little access to the sea. That one's ridiculous. That's false. The Roman Empire had extensive coastlines along the Mediterranean Sea, which was crucial for a trade and military and transportation. True or false? Roman law introduced the concept of innocent until proven guilty. This one's true. One of the significant contributions of Roman law is the principle of innocent until proven guilty, which has become a cornerstone of modern legal systems around the world. And that concludes that section. Now, that was a little quick. Next time, I think I'll give us all a little more time to execute on that particular program. So anyway, that was round 2, and now we'll go to round 3. This one's another speed painting round, but it's different. It is historical characters, historical figures. Educated by famous philosopher who was a student of Plato, conquered the Persian Empire and never lost a battle. Known for naming a city after himself in Egypt. Who's got this one? We're doing the speed painting. It's up to you guys to do the guessing. Can't tell who it is yet? Oh, okay, do we have an answer there? Well, if you guessed Alexander the Great, you did get this one correct. Moving on to the next one. His notebooks contain designs for a flying machine and a tank. Painted one of the most famous murals, The Last Supper in Milan. Best known for painting the Mona Lisa. Who's got this one? It's not a bad painting, is it? If you guessed Leonardo da Vinci, you'd have this one correct. Now this one's pretty easy. The only U.S. president to hold a patent. Delivered the Gettysburg Address during the American Civil War. Emancipated the slaves with a proclamation in 1863. There you go. Pretty iconic photograph and figure. Wasn't that right about when photography was kind of like first used? Lincoln was around. Anyway, Abraham Lincoln is the correct answer. Moving on. Trained as a lawyer in London before becoming a major political leader in India. Led the Salt March to protest British salt taxes. Known as the father of the nation in India. Who's got this one? Do you remember his first name? Yeah, it's hard to... Yeah, actually, they use 2 different names for his first name, but there's one that's easier than the other one. Mahatma. That's correct. Mahatma Gandhi. Moving on. Studied law and was expelled from the university. by joining a protest. Spent 27 years in prison for highlighting apartheid. Became the first black president of South Africa in 1994. Everybody remember his name? Say his name. Desmond. No, it's not Desmond. Oh, who played it, maybe. Yeah, there you go. Nelson Mandela is the correct answer. Okay, so we did the men. Now we're going to do the women. This is the last ruler of the Macedonian dynasty in Egypt. Had romantic liaisons with two Roman leaders. Famously committed suicide using a snake. This is like my number one video person. I do more videos on this famous queen than anyone else. You can tell by the neck thing. Is that called a necklace or something? I don't know what that. What is that called? That should be the real question. Cleopatra is the correct answer. Actually, which number Cleopatra? Cleopatra the 7th is the correct answer. Next, born in Warsaw, Poland, before moving to France to continue her education, discovered two elements, polonium and radium. First woman to win a Nobel Prize and the only person to win two Nobel Prizes in two different sciences. That's correct, Brad. You're doing pretty good here. You've been studying your history. That's right, Marie Curie. Marie Curie is the correct answer. I've got a couple of videos on Marie Curie as well. You haven't seen those yet. Check them out. Moving on, we only got 3 left. Referred to as the Virgin Queen. She ruled during the defeat of the Spanish Armada. The Elizabethan era is named after her. That was too easy. Isabella is not the correct answer. But Elizabeth is the correct answer. Queen Elizabeth the First is the correct answer. Got 2 left. Here we go. Claimed to have visions, instructing her to support the French king. She wore male military attire during her campaigns. She was canonized as a saint over 500 years after her execution. Who's got this one? My picture is kind of blocking right where you can tell it. She's wearing armor. She's wearing armor. I'm doing the speed painting. You guys are doing the guessing and not doing much guessing on this one. Or there's just a lag. Well, if you guess Joan of Arc, you'd have this one correct. I also have a video, one of my very first videos with Joan of Arc. Last one, her reign marked the expansion of the British Empire to a peak. The second longest reigning British monarch. A certain era is named in her honor. certain era is named in her honor? Okay, the Victorian era is named in her honor. Well, that would make her Queen Victoria, of course. Well, thank you guys for playing. I really appreciate it. And before I let everyone go, I wanted to do one more thing. And that was I wanted
Shadowy
to
world of intelligence,
preview
compromat is a
short
dark
video
art.
I have.
Whitney Webb's investigations reveal how US intelligence agencies have mastered this Russian technique of using compromising material to control influential figures.
Right now.
Imagine having all your secrets known and leveraged by unseen forces. This isn't just espionage fiction, it's a hidden reality Webb uncovers. From political leaders to business moguls, nobody is safe. The goal? To pull strings from behind the curtain, shaping decisions and policies. It's a chess game of power and silence, where your most private moments could be the weapon used against you. A sobering reminder of the unseen battles in corridors of power. Please do like, subscribe, share and comment. Tell us what you think about the deep state. And don't forget to click on the video link below for longer related content.
Anyway, I just kind of wanted to share that. I'm working on a long form video. I've had a lot of people like a few of the CIA history stuff I've been doing. So that's going to be a focus for a little while and see if there's any mileage in doing some CIA ones. So let me know if that's not a good idea from your standpoint. But I kind of like the topic. And the last thing I wanted to show everybody is there's actually on YouTube and on my YouTube channel, there's now a community section. So it's basically just like a post, so like an Instagram post or a Facebook post. But these get out to people that do subscribe to me. So I'm going to try to use those a little more often. You can do fun little quizzes and polls and things like that. So if you haven't signed up, please do subscribe to my channel, and we'll have a lot more fun in the future. So thanks again to everybody for joining. I really appreciate it. Good night. Take it. Hey, good evening, and welcome to Quick Bite History, the live show, where we try to have some fun with history. Tonight we've got 3 quick segments, 2 quizzes, and a participate. So here we go with going to Egypt. We're going to embark on a journey through the sands of time with a true or false quiz designed to test your knowledge of a fascinating era of dynastic Egypt. Discover the marvels of ancient construction, the intricacies of polytheic beliefs, and genius behind their lasting legacies. True or false? The Great Pyramid of Giza was built by the pharaoh Khufu during the 4th dynasty of the Old Kingdom. This is true. The Pyramid of Giza was indeed built by Pharaoh Khufu, also known as Cheops, during the 4th dynasty of the Old Kingdom, around 2580 to 2560 BC. It is the oldest and largest of the 3 pyramids in the Giza Pyramid complex and was originally built as a tomb for the pharaoh. Did you get it? True or false? The ancient Egyptians used iron extensively in the construction of the pyramids. This is actually false. The ancient Egyptians primarily used stone and copper tools for construction of the pyramids. Iron was extensively used in ancient Egypt until much later periods. Long after the pyramid building era, the stones were cut and shaped using stone and copper tools, and the construction of the pyramids is a testament to the ancient Egyptians' ingenuity and engineering skills without the use of iron. True or false? The ancient Egyptian civilization was polytheistic, worshiping only one god. True or false? That's false. The ancient Egyptian civilization was polytheistic, meaning they worshiped many gods and goddesses. Their religion included a vast pantheon of deities, each with their own roles and domains. Ra, Osiris, and Isis, to name a few. Moving on to the next one. True or false? The Rosetta Stone was crucial in deciphering Egyptian hieroglyphics because it contained the same text in 3 different scripts. This is true. The Rosetta Stone was crucial in deciphering Egyptian hieroglyphics as it contained the same text written in the scripts of hieroglyphic, Demonic, and Ancient Greek. This allowed scholars, particularly Jean-Francois Champollion, to compare the text and eventually decipher hieroglyphs in the 19th century. True or false? All Egyptian pyramids were built as tombs for the pharaohs and their consorts. True or false? What do you think? This is false. Many of the Egyptian pyramids were indeed built as tombs for pharaohs and their consorts. Not all of them served this purpose. Some smaller pyramids and structures within the pyramid complexes were built as cenotaphs or symbolic tombs, where the body was not actually buried. Additionally, some pyramids were dedicated to queens and other members of the royal family, not just pharaohs and their consorts. Moving on, true or false, the ancient Egyptians had a solar calendar that consisted of 365 days divided into 12 months of 30 days each, plus an extra 5 days at the end of the year. Doesn't sound true, but it is true. The ancient Egyptians developed a solar calendar that consisted of 365 days. This calendar was divided into 12 months and 30 days each, with that additional 5 days at the end of the year. These extra days were added to align the calendar more closely with the solar year and were dedicated to birthdays of specific gods. Moving on to our 7th question out of 10. True or false? The Sphinx of Giza represents the pharaoh Khafre and is part of the pyramid complex. This is true. The Great Sphinx of Giza, which features a lion's body and a human head, is believed to represent Pharaoh Khafre, who was the builder of the second pyramid at Giza. It is part of the pyramid complex and is located near his valley temple, suggesting a close association with Khafre. True or false? The Egyptian Book of the Dead is a single comprehensive text that outlines the rituals to be performed after death. Actually, this is false. The Egyptians' Book of the Dead is not a single text, but rather a collection of spells, prayers, and incantations designed to guide the deceased through the afterlife and protect them from dangers. These texts vary considerably, were customized for the individual, containing a selection of spells that were considered most useful to their journey after life. True or false? The last native Egyptian dynasty was overthrown by the Persians in 332 BC. Actually, it's false. The last native Egyptian dynasty, the 30th dynasty, was overthrown by the Persians in 343 BC. Egypt was later conquered by Alexander the Great in 332 BC, marking the end of Persian rule and the beginning of the Greek Ptolemaic dynasty in Egypt. And finally, true or false? Hieroglyphic writing was used exclusively for religious texts and inscriptions on monuments. Is that true or false? Hieroglyphics only? False. While hieroglyphics writing was often used for religious texts and inscriptions on monuments, it was not used exclusively for these purposes. Hieroglyphs were also used for a wide range of other texts, including administrative and legal documents, letters, and literary works. The use of hieroglyphs was versatile and adapted to different contexts throughout ancient Egyptian history. And that concludes our first segment. That was a whirlwind of information. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We're going to go on to our second segment. This is a little more calm and a little easier to deal with. This is our speed painting round. And what we do here is we have our robots do some painting, and you guys guess. Now the category is famous actresses of Hollywood's golden age. This first one's very easy. Hopefully you can get it. It was a dedicated human working with UNICEF years. She starred in a film which featured a New York jewelry store in its title. She was also known for her role as Holly Golightly. I'm sure you guys can guess this one. Who's got it? Who's got this one? This one's easy enough. This is Audrey Hepburn. Moving on, now that was the easiest one. They get harder and harder as we go, so you guys need to work on this a little bit. Famous actresses of the golden era, golden age. She was dubbed the love goddess of the 1940s. She was known for her role in Gilda, especially for a single glove removal scene. She was married to Orson Welles. Who knows this one? Anybody got it? She was born with the name Rita Fonseca. Rita Hayworth is the correct answer. All right, well, let's move on to the next one. This actress starred in 3 films directed by Alfred Hitchcock. Her career was temporarily derailed by a controversial love affair. She was best known for her role opposite Humphrey Bogart in Casablanca. Who knows this one? Somebody's got it, I'm sure. I'm not sure I'm getting everybody's comments tonight. We have a little bit of internet problem. We have storms in our area, so it may be a little bit of a problem on the downlink. This is Ingrid Bergman. Moving on. Our next one's getting a little harder. Her career was marked by both critical and commercial success as well as personal struggles. She starred opposite Clark Gable. She was best known for playing Scarlett O'Hara. We're doing the speed painting. You guys are supposed to be doing the guessing. I'm letting this one go a little longer because it's a little harder. She won 2 Oscars, I believe. Anyway, this is Vivian Lee, one of the most famous actresses of the golden age of Hollywood. Moving on to the next one. I bet you guys will get this one. She initially rose to fame as a model before becoming an iconic actress. She famously sang "Happy Birthday" to a U.S. president. She was best remembered for a scene standing over a subway grate in a white dress. I'm sure you guys are getting this one. If you guessed Marilyn Monroe, you would have gotten this one correct. There we go. We've got a correct answer. Next one, she started her career as a child actress in the early 1940s. She was known for her distinctive violet eyes and multiple marriages. She starred as Cleopatra in one of the most expensive films of all time. I guess it would have been of its time. Who's got a guess? Our robots are painting. You guys need to guess. Good painting them. Not bad. Who's got it? Well, if you would have guessed Elizabeth Taylor, you would have had that one correct. Moving on, before becoming a princess, this actress had a successful acting career. She starred in a Hitchcock film that takes place largely in an apartment, observing neighbors. She also became the Princess of Monaco. I'm sure you guys can get this one. Who's a famous actress who gave the princess? guessed Grace Kelly. You would have had this one correct. Her career breakthrough came with the film The Killers. She often played roles that epitomized the femme fatale. She was one time married to Frank Sinatra. I also know she starred in The Sun Also Rises. Ernest Hemingway. Give you a little extra time on this one. Well, if you would have guessed Ava Gardner, you would have had this one correct. I think you'll get the next one. First film actress to win an Oscar for a non-English speaking role. She became a major sex symbol in Italy before gaining international fame. She was known for her striking beauty, voluptuous figure. Who's got? Well, if you would have guessed Sophia Loren, you would have this one correct. All right, well, we're moving on to our last painting of the evening. This actress was known for her deep voice and sultry looks. She made her film debut opposite Humphrey Bogart, whom she later married. She also starred in a movie called The Big Sleep. She was very famous. She starred in lots of different movies. As I'm remembering, she wore her hair in lots of different colors. She was sometimes brunette, sometimes blonde, and sometimes redhead. Who's got a guess at this one? Well, if you would have guessed Lauren Bacall, you'd have the correct answer on this one. And that ends our segment number 2. Now we're going to go back to another quiz. This time the quiz is going to be on the American Revolution. So I don't know how good you guys are at your American Revolution answers, but we'll get going. We're going to embark on a journey through history with this true or false quiz designed to test and expand your knowledge on the pivotal moments and figures of the American Revolution. True or false, the American Revolution began in 1775. True or false? 1775. The answer is true. The American Revolution officially began in 1775 with the Battle of Lexington and Concord. These conflicts marked the first military engagement between the American colonies and the British forces, igniting the War for American Independence. True or false? The Declaration of Independence was signed in 1776 by all the Founding Fathers on July 4th. True or false? Did they all sign on July 4th? That's false. While the Declaration of Independence was adopted on July 4th, 1776, not all the Founding Fathers signed it on this date. The signing process began on August 2nd, 1776, and continued over the following months, with some signatories not putting their names until much later. True or false? The American Revolution ended with the signing of the Treaty of Paris in 1783. This is true. The American Revolution officially ended with the signing of the Treaty of Paris in 1783. The treaty recognized the independence of the United States and established borders for the new nation. True or false? Benjamin Franklin was the first president of the United States. Think you guys can get this one? Was Ben Franklin the first president? I don't think so. This is false. George Washington was the first president of the United States, serving from 1789 to 1797. Benjamin Franklin was a founding father and a key figure in the American Revolution, but he never served as president. True or false? The Boston Tea Party was a protest against taxes on tea imposed by the British Parliament. Boston Tea Party. This is true. The Boston Tea Party was a political protest that occurred on December 16, 1773 at Griffin's Wharf in Boston, Massachusetts. American colonists, frustrated and angry at the Britain for imposing taxation without representation, dumped 342 chests of British tea into the harbor as a protest for the Tea Act. True or false? The French and Indian War was part of the American Revolution. True or false? This is false. The French and Indian War, 1754 to 1763, was a precursor to the American Revolution, but it was not part of the Revolution itself. This war was fought between the British and the French and their respective Native American allies. The control of North America. Its outcome significantly affected the political and economic situation in the colonies, contributing to the tensions that led to the American Revolution. True or false? The Intolerable Acts were measures taken by the American colonists to protest British policies. This is false. The Intolerable Acts were a series of punitive laws passed by the British Parliament in 1774 in response to the Boston Tea Party. Far from being measures taken by the colonists, these were actually meant to punish Massachusetts colonists for their defiance and were a major catalyst leading to the American Revolution. True or false? The Continental Army was created before the Declaration of Independence was signed. This is true. The Continental Army was formed in June 1775, more than a year before the Declaration of Independence was signed in July 1776. The Army was created to coordinate the military efforts of the 13 colonies in their revolt against British rule. True or false? The Battle of Saratoga was a defeat for the American forces. This is false. The Battle of Saratoga was a significant victory for the American forces fought in 1777. It was considered the turning point in the American Revolution. It convinced France to enter the war on the side of the Americans, and this was a crucial military support that helped secure American independence. And finally, true or false? Thomas Jefferson wrote the final draft of the Declaration of Independence alone. Do you write it alone? No, he did not. This is false. While Thomas Jefferson was the principal author or a principal author of the Declaration of Independence and did write the initial draft, the final version was the result of revisions by the Committee of Five, which included Jefferson, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Roger Sherman, and Robert R. Livingston, and further edits by the Continental Congress. Jefferson's draft underwent significant changes before it was the final version. And with that, we'll conclude our final third segment of the evening and hope that y'all had a little bit of fun with history tonight. And hopefully you'll join us again next time we do this. Good night. Hey, good evening. Good evening and welcome to Quick Bite History Live Show. Tonight we're going to play three different games. I've got three segments set up for you. First one will be a speed painting game where you guys guess the character that I'm speed painting. Second round will be a true or false quiz, and that will be on the Great Pyramid of Egypt. And then the third category will be some previews of several different projects I've got going. So I want to warn you that this speed painting round is very difficult. So I might suggest that right now you get on your phone or get on whatever and look up the 12 most well-known or most accomplished world explorers from the year 1000 till the year 1600. And with that, let me load up this next segment. Just a second. Anyway, so we will be doing speed painting where our robots will paint and you guys will guess the character that I'm painting. I'll give you some clues. So this first guy was born in 970 and he lived till 1020. This explorer is considered one of the first Europeans to set foot in North America. And please do guess. Hey, good to see you, Anna. Please do throw your guesses in the comments. He was a Norse explorer from Iceland. He established a Norse settlement in Vinland, which is located on the northern tip of Newfoundland. Anybody got it? Anybody know who this guy is? Bells? Any guesses? This is maybe the easiest one in the evening. I suggest you get on Google or ChatGPT and say 12 famous explorers. Anyway, have a chance. All right, well, if you would have guessed Leif Erikson, you would have had that first one correct. Moving on. This guy lived from 1254 to 1324. This Venetian merchant traveled further than any of his contemporaries, reaching China. He documented his travels in a work that introduced Europeans to Central Asia and China. He wrote a famous book. His journeys inspired many, including Christopher Columbus, who carried a copy of his book on his voyages. Who knows who this is? A fairly famous name. For whatever reason, kids scream his name in the swimming pool. I don't know why. There you go. Good guess. We have a winner. Anybody else? Anybody know? Well, if you would have guessed Marco Polo, you would be correct on this one. Now, good luck on this next one. This guy lived from 1304 to 1368. This Moroccan explorer traveled over 75,000 miles, visiting the Islamic world and beyond. He is known for his extensive travels and detailed account of the Islamic world in the 14th century. His journey included trips to North Africa, the Horn of Africa, West Africa, Southern Europe, and Asia. Any guesses? Anybody know? You would have had to look this one up, let me tell you. No. Shakespeare. Wrong category. There you go. That's actually correct. Good job. You did look it up. Ibn Battuta. Ibn Battuta. Tough one. Anyway, moving on. This guy lived from 1371 to 1433. This explorer led 7 major expeditions to the Western Seas during the early Ming Dynasty. He was a Chinese Muslim admiral who traveled to Southeast Asia, South Asia, and Middle East, and East Africa. His fleet of giant ships was said to be the largest wooden ships in history. It's fair. I think on these are so difficult that having a little digital assistant might be okay. You still got to do a little homework. Any guesses here? Obviously, a Chinese gentleman with large ships. Well, if you would have guessed Zhang He, 1371 to 1433, you would have been correct. Now, I bet you get the next one. This guy was 1451 to 1506. This Italian explorer completed 4 voyages across the Atlantic Ocean, opening the way for the widespread European exploration. He mistakenly discovered the New World while searching for the faster road to India. All of his expeditions were funded by the Spanish monarchs Ferdinand and Isabella. Who's got this one? This is like almost the most famous explorer in history, guys. Who knows? New World? Nina Pinta Santa Maria? Well, if you guessed Christopher Columbus, you'd have this one correct. So moving on. Now, I've known some of these explorers, so maybe you guys will get some of these. 1460 to 1524. This Portuguese explorer was the first to sail directly from Europe to India, so around the Cape of Africa. He reached Calcutta, now in Kerala, India, by sailing around the Cape of Good Hope, that's what it's called. His successful voyages are considered milestone in world history because they confirm Portugal's maritime dominance in the late 15th and early 16th centuries. Who knows this one? Well, at least you're learning something on this particular video. You didn't know these before. You're learning them. Who's got a guess? Portuguese. Vasco da Gama would be the correct answer. Okay, now this next one's pretty well known. You should know. 1480, 1521. This explorer's expedition was the first to circumnavigate the globe. He was a Portuguese sailor sailing for Spain, searching for a westward route to the Spice Islands. He named the Pacific Ocean, which means peaceful sea. First to circumnavigate. Who's got it? It's okay to look it up. First to go all the way around the globe. Very famous explorer. Nobody's got it, huh? This is Ferdinand Magellan. First to go all the way around the world. This next guy was 1485 to 1547. This Spanish conquistador led an expedition that caused the fall of the Aztec Empire. He entered into an alliance with some of the indigenous peoples he encountered. He captured and destroyed the Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan. I've actually done a couple short videos on this gentleman. Spanish conquistador. Mean dudes. Who's got it? No guesses? Well, guess I gotta tell you then. This is Hernan Cortez. And he lived from 1485 to 1547. And again, he's the guy that captured the Aztecs. Okay, we have another Portuguese. 1450 to 1500. This Portuguese navigator was the first European to sail around the southernmost tip of Africa. His voyage proved that the Indian Ocean was accessible by sea from Europe. The cape he rounded was initially named the Cape of Storms by him. Another Portuguese. I got a funny story about why this guy's in the DLF. I was trying to use Sir Francis Drake, but the ChatGPT's image generator refused to draw Sir Francis Drake. Apparently, Sir Francis Drake has been canceled by the woke folks. They wouldn't allow them to draw them. So this is Bartolomeu Diaz. Took Sir Francis Drake's spot. Okay, let's move across the globe. 1565 to 1611. This English sea explorer searched for a northwest passage to Asia. He explored what is now known as New York and the river that bears his name. His final expedition ended in mutiny. He was cast adrift by his crew. And he has a fairly famous bay named after him as well. Who's got it? Nobody? I do see the Hernan Cortez now. But now we're on the other side. We're in America. We're in North America. We're in Canada. This guy's exploring up there looking for the Northwest Passage. He has a giant bay named after him and a river. And his name is Henry Hudson. And he lived from 1565 to 1611. Here we got a couple more. Now, in the same general area, 1574 to 1635, he was known as the father of New France. So again, we're talking about Canada. He founded Quebec City. He made over 20 trips across the Atlantic and established governing the settlements in New France. He explored and mapped the Great Lakes and established trading routes. This is a French guy. And he has a lot of areas that are named after him up in that general area. No guesses, huh? So you see, you guys are learning a lot tonight. I told you that was going to be hard. I did tell you. I did warn you. There you go. Champlain. Very good. Samuel de Champlain, 1574 through 1635. Good guess. Good job. We got one more. And this is 1603 through 1659. This Dutch explorer was the first known European to reach the islands of Van Diemen's Land, which I never heard of before. Oh, now Tasmania and New Zealand. So this is South Pacific, New Zealand, discovered New Zealand. He worked for the Dutch East India Company and explored parts of the Pacific Ocean. The sea between Australia and New Zealand bears his name. Can you think of a sea in that area? Or can you look up a sea real quick in the southern Pacific Ocean near New Zealand? What's a sea called? And that's this guy's name. No more guesses, huh? These are hard. I apologize for how hard they are. I thought it was good to have a tougher round. This is Abel Tasman, which obviously the Tasman Sea is named after him. So anyway, again, apologies. That was kind of a difficult round, wasn't it? All right. Well, let's move on to the next round. Let's, hi, I'm real big now. We'll move on to the next round. And this is going to be pretty quick too now. This is true or false quiz, and it's on the Great Pyramid. So welcome to the true false quiz on the Great Pyramid of Egypt. Test your knowledge about one of the ancient world's most fascinating structures and discover intriguing facts about the history, construction, and mysteries. Let's see how much you know. True or false? The Great Pyramid of Egypt was originally built with a smooth outer surface. True or false? Who knows? It's true. The Great Pyramid of Egypt, also known as the Pyramid of Khufu or Cheops, was originally covered with casting stones that formed a smooth outer surface. These casing stones were made of highly polished Tura limestone, designed to reflect the sun's rays, making the pyramid shine like a gem in the sunlight. Most of these casing stones were removed over the millennia for use in other construction projects. Moving on to number 2. True or false? The Great Pyramid was built by slaves. True or false? This is actually false, contrary to popular belief. Depictions in some media, the Great Pyramid of Giza was not built by slaves. Archaeologists, evidence, and historical studies suggest that the pyramid was built by a workforce of skilled laborers and artisans and workers who lived nearby in temporary cities. These workers were likely paid laborers who worked in shifts and rotations to construct the pyramid. There you go. In case you didn't know. True or false? The Great Pyramid is aligned perfectly with the cardinal points of the compass. True or false? Aligned perfectly. It is true. The Great Pyramid of Egypt is remarkably aligned with the cardinal points of the compass. Its base is almost perfectly square and its sides are aligned closely with the four cardinal directions, northeast, south, and west. This precise alignment, achieved with ancient tools and methods, remains one of the pyramid's most impressive architectural feats. True or false? The Great Pyramid was the tallest man-made structure in the world for over 3,800 years. Is that true or false? This is true. The Great Pyramid held the record as the tallest man-made structure in the world for over 3,800 years, with the original height of 146.6 meters, 481 feet. It was surpassed in height only in the 14th century by the Lincoln Cathedral in England. Kind of interesting. True or false? The Great Pyramid contains hieroglyphic writings inside the burial chambers. This is actually false. Unlike many ancient Egyptian tombs and temples, the Great Pyramid main chambers contain no hieroglyphic writings. The only original markings found inside were small marks left by the work gangs in hidden or non-public areas. No elaborate hieroglyphs associated with other sites. True or false? The original entrance to the Great Pyramid is on the north face. This is true. The original entrance to the Great Pyramid is indeed located on the north face, about 17 meters or 56 feet vertically above the ground. This entrance leads to a descending passage that connects to the pyramid's internal chambers. Moving on, true or false? The Great Pyramid was built as a tomb for Pharaoh Cheops. This is true. The Great Pyramid was built as a monumental tomb for Pharaoh Khufu, also known by his Greek name Cheops. It served as the final resting place for the pharaoh, intended to ensure his immortality and help facilitate his journey to the afterlife. True or false? The Great Pyramid is located in the city of Cairo. This is false. While the Great Pyramid is near Cairo, it is actually located on the Giza Plateau in the outskirts of the city. The Giza Plateau is home to the Great Pyramid and its companions, the pyramids of Khafre and Menkaure, along with the Great Sphinx. True or false? All the Great Pyramid's original treasures have been found. This is actually false. Most of the Great Pyramid's original contents and treasures have been looted or removed over the thousands of years despite extensive explorations. No significant treasure trove has been found within the pyramid in modern times, and many of its original artifacts and the pharaoh's mummy have never been recovered. And finally, number 10, true or false? The construction of the Great Pyramid is accurately dated to exactly 2500 BCE. That's true. The construction of the Great Pyramid is commonly dated to the reign of Pharaoh Khufu around 2580 to 2560 BCE, during the 4th dynasty and of the Old Kingdom of ancient Egypt. While the exact year can be challenging to pinpoint with absolute precision, this time frame is widely accepted and based on historical and archaeological evidence. So that was quite a whirlwind of information on the Great Pyramid of Egypt. All right, let's load up our last segment. Now, our last segment, I'm going to actually pause it just for a second. The last segment will be some previews of work that I've got underway. I've got 3 long projects that are 10-piece components. And I'm going to give you the first chapter, let's say, in each of those segments, and then we'll wrap it up after that. So anyway, the three long stories are Ancient North America, Mysteries Before Columbus. Second one is Secrets of Mother Culture, Decoding the Legacy of the Olmecs. And the third is Legends of Resistance, the True Heroes of the 1800s Native Americans. So I've got 3 1-minute shorts that start the story towards what will eventually be 10 to 12.
In an age when
videos.
ice sheets blanketed the earth, the first Americans ventured across Beringia, a land bridge hidden beneath today's Bering Strait. Facing the merciless cold and untamed wilderness, these pioneers of prehistory embarked on an unparalleled journey. As they spread across the North American continent, they encountered diverse landscapes from frozen tundras to lush forests. This initial migration sparked a wave of human adaptation and ingenuity. The people learned to hunt mammoths, fish in icy waters, and gather what the land offered. This era laid the foundation for the diverse cultures that would later flourish across North, South, and Central America. These first migrations were a testament to human resilience and adaptability.
Next is going to be the Olmecs.
The Olmecs emerged around 1600 BCE, laying the foundations of Mesoamerican civilization in the tropical lowlands of what is now south-central Mexico. This period marked the dawn of complex societies in the region, with the Olmecs leading the way in developing extensive trade networks, religious institutions, and monumental architecture. San Lorenzo, one of their first major centers, became a bustling hub of activity and innovation. Here, the Olmecs mastered the environment, cultivating the fertile lands and navigating the vast river systems that crisscrossed their territory. The emergence of San Lorenzo showcased the ingenuity and adaptability of the Olmec people, setting the stage for the cultural and technological advancements that would influence the entire region for centuries to come.
And finally, Native Americans during the 1800s.
The Trail of Tears, the year 1838, marked a dark chapter in American history, as the Cherokee were forcibly removed from their ancestral lands in the Southeast. This exodus, known as the Trail of Tears, saw over 16,000 Cherokee endure a grueling 1,000-mile march to designated Indian territory. Faced with harsh conditions, inadequate supplies, and disease, nearly a quarter of the Cherokee population perished along the way. Yet, in the face of such despair, the Cherokee people's resilience shone brightly. They carried with them not just the physical remnants of their old lives, but the spirit of their ancestors, their culture, and their determination to rebuild. Trail of Tears stands as a solemn testament to their survival and unbreakable spirit in the face of adversity.
All right. Well, anyway, again, that's 3 different long videos that I've got coming up, and I do appreciate you checking out those previews, and watch for more shorts. And then I'd say in about a week to 2 weeks time, you'll get all 3 of those videos posted. Now, before I let you go tonight, the last thing I wanted to chat about real quick is that I do have a playlist that is another thing I really like, and I use these virtually every night to go to sleep. And this is my relaxation with different images, music. And so I've got a whole playlist of, I don't know, 6 or 7 different long videos where you can put these on and go to bed, or you can put these on to study, or if you just want to chill for a little bit. I put them on during the day too. When I'm working, I actually make my videos and watch these. So anyway, I encourage you to look up my playlist of the relaxing music and visual experiences. When you do watch these, they're longer. And because I'm a channel focused on short videos, I need more time to follow the YouTube guidelines to get monetized. And so it really helps if you put these on and just relax and let them play. And I do appreciate that. Anyway, I'll let you go for the evening. Thank you again. It was real fun doing this, and we look forward to seeing you the next time. Good night, everybody. Good night.